Most breakups are painful, but for Marissa Mion, this specific one would change everything. Marissa had recently ended her relationship with her ex-boyfriend Ernesto Santini. She was completely ready to move on with her life, but Ernesto simply couldn't accept that it was over. The day before everything happened, he gave her a warning. It was something she would never forget. Looking straight at Marissa, he said, "You are either going to be with me or I will you." At that time, it sounded like nothing more than an angry threat. Less than 24 hours later, Marissa went back to the house. Her only goal was to collect her things and pick up the children. There was absolutely no plan to fix the relationship. This was supposed to be a quick visit. Before leaving, she trusted her instincts. A friend was asked to watch her phone's location. Nobody expected the day to end like this, but Marissa simply wanted someone to know exactly where she was. As soon as she arrived, the situation changed. An argument started inside the house. Nobody knows every word that was said. Only 2 people were in that room. Ernesto later claimed they fought over a gun and that everything happened in the heat of the moment. Detectives weren't buying it. The physical evidence pointed in a completely different direction. Several shots were fired inside the house. Marissa never made it out alive. Instead of calling emergency services, Ernesto reached out to someone he knew. That call immediately sparked suspicion. In that conversation, he admitted he had shot her. Those words became a major part of the case. By the time officers arrived, the house was a crime scene and investigators began piecing the timeline together. Forensic got evidence from every room to reconstruct the final hours leading up to the shooting. Then, a major breakthrough changed everything. Investigators uncovered a warning Marissa had received just the day before. For the prosecution, the warning became the heart of the case. It backed up their theory of what actually happened. The evidence painted a completely different picture, insisting it was nothing more than a tragic physical struggle. In the end, it was up to the jury to weigh the conflicting stories. The investigation went on for months as police tracked down the final pieces of the puzzle. Phone records and interviews with friends and family helped fill in the blanks. Several witnesses described the troubled relationship, and multiple people remembered what Ernesto had told Marissa. Prosecutors focused on the threat to prove it wasn't an accident. From day one, the defense stuck with a straightforward strategy. They maintained Ernesto's story. Nothing was premeditated, and the gun simply went off. Once the trial began, both sides laid out the cases, with each witness adding more detail to the narrative. Graphic photos of the crime scene were shown in court alongside the detailed timeline of the events. One central question stayed at the center of the trial. Did the forensic evidence actually back up Ernesto's story? The prosecution claimed it didn't. In their eyes, the facts spoke clearly for themselves. The defense focused on one simple argument: reasonable doubt. After days of testimony, the jury finally went to a private room to decide the verdict. Hours passed before everyone was called back, and a heavy silence fell over the courtroom. Then the verdict came down. Ernesto Santini was found guilty. The conviction gave Marissa's family closure, but it could never bring her back. They lost a daughter, a mother, and a friend, a void that will never be filled. A turbulent relationship ended in tragedy and destroyed countless lives in the process. Cases like this cut deep, and the hardest part is knowing just how easily it could have been prevented.